not eating any food for the next 30 days.
Wait, won't you be hungry?
Landing a Lamborghini with a hydraulic press, climbing a building with a real Spider-Man suit, the world's largest elephant toothpaste experiment, filling a pool with 1 billion Orbeez.
Behind me is an assassin!
Have you ever wondered how gummy worms are made?
Yeah, that's the number!
Mr. Beast is friends with a trans woman. That's the headline. And because of that, every single conservative outlet is going to trash him. But the craziest ones are going to trash him because they claim he's grooming kids. And then the even crazier ones than that, they're going to say that he's grooming kids because Satan.
The person who has over 130 million subscribers on YouTube, does he have a demon? We're going to be talking about that today. And
That's right. We're talking Mr. Beast today because this is probably the only time Mr. Beast will ever cross over into my territory, so we might as well make the most of it. As we all know, trans people are the current biggest boogeyman in the eyes of the conservative grift. But what people don't notice as much, unless you're a theology freak like me, is how the conservative grift is also being embraced by the majority of the online Christian media sphere. So what is a little guy like me to do when I see all these big Christian-focused channels talking about YouTube's beloved Wonder Boy? The healer of eyes, the gamer of squids, the
Last to leave this pool full of ramen wins $20,000.
What am I supposed to do when Mr. Beast is the focus of our typical religious grift nonsense that we already love to tackle? Well, I have to exploit it, because I have the time. Mr. Beast needs no introduction. He's a mega corporation of a YouTuber that films the dumbest shit you can think of and somehow throws so much money at it that it becomes something you have to see. He's incredibly successful, and most importantly in the context of our story, he's probably the most recognizable personality to kids under the age of about 14. And by the way, that's not the most recognizable YouTube personality, it's not the most recognizable online personality, it's the most recognizable person, period. You ask a 12-year-old to identify this man, and you'll have a 60% success rate. But you ask a 12-year-old to identify Mr. Beast, you've got him every time. And then there's these people. They're not important to anyone, especially your kids. And yet these dumbasses think they know how best to correct the kids on these important issues. They think that because of some kind of religious conviction, these kids are going to just be swayed by their old head faces because they're so enlightened. And yeah, I know what they would say. They would say they're speaking to the parents, not the kids. And they're probably right. I bet their metrics are skewed all the way to the 65 and up category. Now, the religious right loves a good boycott. I mean, look at Bud Light right now. But they also know that they haven't successfully boycotted anything in decades, because I mean, look at Bud Light right now. Yet, they do it over and over and over again to make fools out of themselves. Why? Do they really think that 12-year-olds are going to stop watching Mr. Beast videos? No, of course they don't. And if they were actually forced to be honest with themselves, they would admit they don't give a shit about these kids, not as individuals. The kids mean nothing to them. What they're in it for is the money. They know that there is a standard song and dance, and that regardless of their personal opinions, they must align themselves with the mainstream narrative of the evangelical church. And that narrative is that trans people are evil. And Satan, he's also evil. And Mr. Beast, he knows a trans person, and not immediately disowning a trans person means that you're embracing trans activism. And embracing trans activism, that means you're embracing evil, which means that you're Satan. And that means Mr. Beast is essentially a piece of shit. This is great for evangelical churches. They love to find as many ways as possible to distance themselves from acceptable society, because that means that they can further insulate themselves from what they see as inappropriate. The further away they are from cultural norms, the more they can isolate themselves and reinvest in the propagandizing of their own people. The more they can label the world around them as evil, the more justified they can be in calling for their congregations to retreat further and further into the realms of misinformation and uneducated garbage theology. This is the strategy we've been talking about with my last video, and it will be a recurring theme. They know that Mr. Beast is bigger than them, and they know that labeling him as incompatible with their theology will result in more people being forced into their groupthink with less exposure to the outside world and thoughts that take them away from their tainted pulpits. The more glass-boned, paper-skinned little boys they can keep at soccer mom-run homeschools and away from the internet, the better chance they will have in the future at keeping a small but vocal minority pissed off about something irrelevant. And these religious media outlets and YouTube dorks are cashing in, because this isn't about bringing awareness to the trans issues in the evangelical church. This is about bringing in all that evangelical money and reacting to the newest meta in the evangelical space. This is for clicks, it's for reactions, and it's for paychecks. Just like the right-wing grifts of our favorite rodent lookalikes, these people know where their bread is buttered. They want to make sure they announce their own disapproval of Mr. Beast to keep that sweet, sweet evangelical money pouring into their coffers.
That you can be. This does not involve you seeking yourself. You seeking yourself is a 1960s, 1970s garbage construct in which your own personal priority.
It's so weird. Like, Ben's argument here is that, like, again, is the same as like Sunny V2. It's just that, like, you should hide it. Like, don't be true to yourself. Don't live with the mental clarity and happiness. Just hide it. And what? Be like Steven Crowder?
And I guess I'm helping them do that because I'm also cashing in. Except I'm not making any money from this. So... Satan is controlling your children. Mr. Beast needs an exorcism from Greg Locke.
You get out, you demon!
Please, won't someone think of the straight children? Thanks for watching, guys. Love you.